His classmates called him El Guajiro, the hick, and he liked nothing more than to revisit the Cuba of his childhood.
¿Quién es el isleño aquí? ¿El isleño? Ahora que nosotros somos isleños, no vamos. En el otro hacemos de viejita mía. Ahora es forma de dejar
Fidel Castro came of age at Las Manacas, a sprawling sugar plantation in Cuba's remote northeast. His father, Angel, a former Spanish soldier, had come to Cuba at the turn of the century to fight in the Spanish-American War and made his fortune growing sugarcane for the U.S.-owned United Fruit Company, the dominant economic and social force in the region at the time.
There is definitely a lot of history encoded in that childhood of Fidel Castro's. He was the outsider. He was born illegitimately. His father had been married to a school teacher. Then he took up with a family maid who was Fidel's mother, and they were only married when the children were sent to Catholic schools. Fidel very seldom spoke about this, never directly.
Fidel's mother, Lina Ruz, was a poor but ambitious country girl. Once described as an Annie Oakley type, she was known to fire a gun to call her family to dinner. Though Lina barely knew how to read and write, she insisted their children get the best education Angel's money could buy. Fidel and his two brothers, Raul and Ramon, were sent to a boarding school in Santiago de Cuba. But the unruly Castro boys were too disruptive and were expelled.
Fidel told his father and mother, "I want to go back to that school." But his parents said, "No, you can't go back. You and your brothers were just too rough, you were too violent. And the priests don't want you there anymore." And what he did was he told his mother, "If you do not send me back to that school, I will burn this house down." And his mother knew that this boy, this ferocious son of hers, truly meant what he said.
In October 1941, at age 15, Fidel went to Havana to attend El Colegio de Belén, Cuba's best and most exclusive school. His rural upbringing clashed with that of his schoolmates, raised in the cultured and literate homes of Cuba's upper class. His reckless behavior earned him a nickname, El Loco, the crazy one.
Fidel Castro que quería ganar en todo siempre.
Fidel Castro always wanted to win at everything. Once he made a bet that he would crash against the back wall of one of the school's long corridors. So for $5, he got on his bike and crashed into the wall. He lost consciousness and spent several days in the infirmary recovering.
It was at Belén, under the guidance of Spanish Jesuit priests, that the young Castro began to form his worldview.
The Jesuits Fidel encountered in Havana in the 1940s came out of the experience of the Spanish Civil War. From the nationalist faction, the faction close to fascism, and they were steeped in the idea of the superiority of the Hispanic Catholic world over the materialistic, corrupt Anglo-Saxon world.
Fidel impressed his teachers with his athletic abilities, photographic memory, and enormous tenacity. They singled him out as someone who would, no doubt, fill the book of his life with brilliant pages. When he entered the University of Havana in 1945, he set out to fulfill that promise.
One night we were studying, and we decided to take a break and went to have a café con leche at a nearby cafe. And we started talking about the future. And I said, I'd like to travel and have a lot of friends, which was the truth. And another guy said, I want to be a poet. Another wanted to be a lawyer. Then I turned to Fidel and said, Guajiro, what do you want? And he said, I want glory and fame.